Hello everybody and welcome to my guide for making a Blasphemous Blade build in Elden Ring. This build can be used all the way from the mid game into the late game. It is one of the best all-around weapons you can get, and it only got better with the DLC, adding in another talisman that makes it even better. So let's go ahead and hop right on into it. So first thing we're going to need obviously is the Blasphemous Blade. This is an item you get off of Rykard's Remembrance in Volcano Manor. Now the reason why this is a mid-game build is simply because it's not going to be until the mid-game when you can get this weapon. You're not really going to be able to get it early on because, you are going to need to have some levels in order to take on Rykard, etc., etc. But what this weapon does is every single time you hit something with a special attack, it heals you. Whenever you kill something with it, it also heals you again. So it makes it one of the most effective items for just spamming the special attack and just healing nonstop. So it's an absolutely fantastic item. To get it, we're just going to have to make a run through Volcano Manor like such. Alright, so to get to Volcano Manor, you're just going to have to go over through Mount Gilmer. It's going to be a decent bit of a run, running through like up and over some mountains and stuff like that, but it really isn't too crazy hard to get to. It's fairly straightforward. But whenever you actually get here, you'll see here how there's an invisible wall in this room. Now, there's going to be another invisible wall. There's a couple different rooms. You just got to go into them and then hit the invisible wall until you get to this little back area. After that, you're going to run down through here. You're going to go down into this little room, an area here. Now, watch out for this Bloodhound Fang guy. He's not anything too crazy, but if he catches you off guard, he might get you. Then once you get here, we're going to do a little bit of a run to the Godskin Noble. You are going to have to kill, Rykard and the Godskin Noble, so you're pretty much going to have to clear this whole area if you're going to get this weapon, so keep that in mind. But killing the Godskin Noble is not too hard as long as you have a few levels. I wouldn't recommend trying to do this build super early on if you're only like level 30 or something, because, you'll have some trouble. But anyway, you got to go to the right, hop up onto this roof. You're going to go around. There's going to be a place for you to jump into this place. Open up the door just so you have the shortcut open. Watch out for that guy. Then we are going to go down the stairs. I believe there's also a Site of Grace down here, if I am not mistaken, but here we go. Jump down here. Run around. Now, this is going to be kind of an awkward spot because I didn't hit the Site of Grace, but there is actually a Site of Grace down there. You can see here I even fell off. So you got to be careful when you're trying to just run past things because those guys will attack you. It's really just better to kill them. If you try to just ignore them, sometimes they'll just get the better of you. Anyway, yeah, so now go up this thing, and you're going to need to open up a bridge. So just run past this guy. Now in there is where the Godskin Noble fight is, but you want to make sure you hit this because this is going to give you a shortcut just in case you die. So now walk in through here. We're going to go ahead and fight the Godskin Noble. It really is not difficult if you just go and get some levels. However, I do recommend Bleed. Bleed will take this guy out super duper fast, as you can see here. I'm using Bloodhound Night Flow, and then look at that. See, just one special attack with Eleonora's Pole Blade. But yeah, so you can absolutely destroy him with Bleed if you have the right weapons. But you can really use whatever. This isn't too hard of a fight. It's mainly just about being the right level whenever you go into it. All right. So from the Godskin Noble, we're going to go up this elevator. Take a little run. We're going to jump over this ledge here, down where all these volcano slugs are at. You can just jump over this guy. You don't have to kill him. Yeah, you can jump over those. And then you got to turn around and jump on over to these ledges here. Yeah, like right down there. And then watch out when you try to go through this doorway. There is going to be one of those Iron Maiden things just waiting for you there. So if it catches you off guard, it could hit you, potentially kill you. It does do quite a bit of damage if that hits. Okay. Dodge that guy. And keep on going. You can really run past everything here fairly easy. Open up this door. Watch out. I believe there's a spellcaster in here with a really weird helmet on. You don't know what the deal is with that. But just a teleportal here, and this will take you to Rykard's chamber. So don't overcomplicate this fight. Just walk in here, grab the Serpent Slayer. It's on that it's that little thing doing a little prayer to the left of me when I walked in. It's right there. You just spam the special attack on him and do not use summons for this fight. It'll give him way more health and make the fight way harder. Just do this. Now, and make sure you have your stamina up, because if you don't have your stamina up whenever you do it, you can definitely cancel some of those attacks. So boom, and wait for it. Do I just not have enough stamina? Because there's definitely a third attack to that I'm just not doing here. Okay, let's see if I get it right this time. Boom, nope, I get hit by something. But yeah, you can see I'm not even doing the full attack, and it's definitely still just wrecking him. Alright, so that's the phase 1. Then he's going to do his little thingamajiggamahoo. And again, you just do the same thing. Spam the attack. Bam. And look at that. And then it will actually stagger him too. And look at that. You see your Mimic Tear. It's just doing some work there for you too. So that's nice. Keep on going. Boom. I will say this though, if you do not have a whole lot of vitality, I would recommend it. A lot of his attacks, if they do hit, like, I don't know, it does seem like they almost are one shot, but also you can think about getting like the Fire Resistance Talisman, stuff like that, putting on the Dragoncrest Shield Talisman, things that give you damage mitigation, also do Boiled Prawn, a lot of options. But anyways, there you are, that's the Rykard fight, and now you just take in the Remembrance and you can have your Blasphemous Blade. Alright, so now we're going to go grab the Erdtree Seal. This is what we're going to use to cast our incantations. So from that Prison Side of Grace, this is fairly easy to get. We're just going to do a little bit of a different run here. Instead of going to the left, we're going to go to the right, and we're going to go all the way down to the bottom here. It is just right down here at the bottom in a room. The only thing is be careful, because I believe there's like an Omen Killer or something like that in here, so... yeah, or somewhere around here, so yeah. But anyways, there's your seal. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get the Talisman of Dread. This is a new talisman that is in Shadows of the Erdtree, and it does in fact affect Taker's Flame, because Taker's Flame is a magma ability and a fire ability. So this is going to increase the damage of your L2 by another 14%. So from that Castle Side of Grace, we are just going to make a nice little run here, and it is going to be on a shack. Yeah, I think you can kind of see the shack off in the distance down there. But watch out, there is some poison. If you're not on your mount, you will get poisoned. There's also some of those Miranda Blossoms to watch out for as well on the way here. But overall, it is fairly easy to get, and it will make your Taker's Flames do even more damage. As I know, Blasphemous Blade is what I use to clear most of the DLC for the first time. So there's your Talisman of Dread. Awesome. So now we're going to go get the Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman. This gives us an intense amount of physical damage reduction that I have found to be super helpful in the Shadows of the Erdtree DLC. So in Ephemeral Brace of the Haligtree, you're going to make your way down to the Drainage Channel. Now normally I would do a more thorough walkthrough, but this is just to unlock this place would be its own video in itself. So just understand how to get to the Consecrated Snowfield. Then you're going to need and go to the Liturgical Town, do the puzzle there, and then that'll unlock you to get here. And then you have to run through, because this is pretty deep into the Haligtree. But once you make it here, this is where you'll go and get it. Now, there's a bunch of bugs that you need to watch out for. And yeah, but that's really about it. But yeah, this is pretty deep into it, so this might be the one thing that you might need to actually go outside of this video in order to, figure out where it is if you want to get a full walkthrough. All right, and it is going to be right down there in that chest. All right, so to get the Fire Scorpion Charm, we are going to go on a run. So from the Erdtree Grazing Hill Side of Grace and Altus Plateau, we are going to go over here, make a little run through the Wyndham Ruins, or around it, I should say. Watch out, that dude does summon a big skeleton guy that if you are not careful, will still find you, even if you're down the river. So there's a Side of Grace down here. And I believe you'll see me get, see me get hit by it. Then also, Ashavor Barrage is down here if you're into that. But we are trying to make our way to Fort Lade to go through Fort Lade, because this Scorpion Charm is in a very odd spot. What it does is it increases your fire damage taken, and while increasing how much damage you take. So keep on rolling, and honestly, I really don't notice the damage increase taken that much, and I'm going to be showing you guys how to get some boiled prawn, and we're also going to be running, or I guess since we are running the Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman, that's going to also reduce how much damage you're taking, so it's going to cancel out the effects of that talisman anyway. Right, so run past him, there's a cookbook in here if you want it, and then run up the stairs, and then you're going to jump over this wall, and boom, there's your charm. Alright, lastly, we are going to be using the Warrior Jar Shard or the Alexander's Jar Shard. So, this is where you can start this quest line. It's in Limgrave if you want to do this early on. But this is a quest line that'll take you all the way into Farum Azula. But if you kill him, he will drop a lesser version of the shard that's going to increase your weapon skill damage by 10%. If you do the full quest line, you'll get one that does it by 15%. So you can decide if you actually want to go do this whole quest line or not. But pretty much you meet him here, and then you meet him at the Radon Festival, and then just keep doing what he asks you to do, and he's going to ask you to fight him in a couple different places. You go fight him at those places, and then eventually you're going to fight him again at Farum Azula, and then he's going to give it to you. But it is a quest line that would kind of warrant its own video. Or you can just kill him and get the 10% version. That's what I did at first whenever I was first making this build. For armor, we want the Rakshasa armor. What this is going to do is increase our damage taken, but it is going to increase our damage done for every little bit that we, for every piece that we put on. So to do this, you're going to go through the front gate of Shadow Keep, fight the Golden Hippopotamus, or alternatively, if you go in through the Church District, you can work your way backwards, and you'll come out right here where these stairs are at if you go that way. But then you'd have to go make the run through the Church District. But yeah, so watch out for those little dudes. Come down here. There's going to be a secret hidden wall that I already opened, as well as a painting in here. So, and this is going to take you out to the drainage channel once you get out of this coffin. And then as you come out of here, you'll come out at the, or no, it's a watering hole. Sorry, I don't know why I said drainage channel. It's the, yeah, the castle watering hole. Now, watch out. There are some furnace dudes here, and they will come to life and mess you up. But there is a site of grace coming up right over here. Yes. Okay. Yeah, watch out. I think I just said screw it, skipped it, but because I already have it. But keep running. Jump across here, and then be careful you don't go too far. I think I might actually go too far here. No, oh, no, I don't. Yeah, so then come over here. Come around. You want to go wrap down and around. You can see it if you overlook this cliff here. You can see it down there. And you're going to have to kill this Rakshasa boss. It's really not too difficult. I mean, everything like in the DLC is pretty much like, do you have your blessings and stuff like that together? Like, it's like, it can be a glass cannon fight if you don't have your defenses together. But yeah, so that's how you get the Rakshasa armor. Okay, so for incantations, we want Golden Vow, so go to Mount Gelmir. We are going to make a run all the way through here. So, watch out for the little maiden things. And then there is going to be an invader that totally whoops my ass, I think, here. So don't be like me, kill her. But you also don't have to kill her. You can just run past. It's over here in this little shack. Bam. Alright, the next thing we're going to use is Howl Shabriri. This is going to give us plus 25% damage at the cost of plus 30% damage taken. You do not have to use this one, but if you really want to get like the min-maxiest of damage, it is pretty necessary, I guess, in terms of that. But in terms of like overall play, like you can definitely kill any boss in the game without getting this. This just gives you a nice little damage boost. So yeah, so from that Liftadectus, go ahead and make this run. Be very, very careful because there's a lot of madness here. And it works where you like, if you just wait a second, let your madness die down, they'll actually stop casting that, and you'll have like a window that you can run over there. So you got to go into this tower. And I think I just say screw it and I just take it. But once you get underneath it, oh yeah, watch out for the rats. The rats will inflict madness. But I think once you get underneath it, it'll stop actually applying it until you get up to like a certain height in the tower. So, and then it'll be right here in this chest. Alright, so now we want Flame Grant Me Strength. This is really good because it increases your physical damage done and your fire damage done. So again, when you stack this with the Fire Scorpion Charm, with Talisman of Dread, that you get the magma damage, like you'll see, this build absolutely slaps. Like it really does. It is easily, it might be like especially in terms of like easy use, like just the best general build to do. Like I really can't think of anything else that makes the game as easy as this build. Because I remember when I first started playing Elden Ring, like a year ago, whenever it came out, whenever that was, like this was when I saw this weapon just in the list, I was like, holy crap, right? But yeah, so anyway, you got to run this. There's going to be 2 of these little cart things back here, so watch out for that. But yeah, it's going to be in between these 2 carts. There you go. Okay, to get the Flame-Shrouded Cracked Crystal Tear, this is going to increase your fire damage for 3 minutes whenever you put it into your Wondrous Physics. So you have to kill this Erdtree avatar over here in Caelid. It's kind of towards the entrance of Caelid. But yeah, so now let's see how much of an ass whooping do I take from this thing. Yeah. You can see, oh, yeah, no. Oh, I'm just doing this the easy way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, actually, I might get hit by that. Okay, okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, those actually will do some damage, maybe. Yeah. Well, I actually really like the Bloodhound Knight for bleed builds. I think it's a little underrated. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like amazing, but yeah. It's not like amazing, I guess, towards the end game when all the summons kind of fall off except for Mimic Tier, but I still enjoyed using it while it lasted. Alright, so you can go to the Third Church America, use the teleporter. It'll teleport you like all the way across Caelid to get to this one if you, for some reason, do not have it open. But if you do, and you have Fort Faroth open because you've already went and got like Radagon's Sword Seal, it's right next to that. So this one is called the Opaline Hardtear. What this does is it gives you 15% damage mitigation, I believe, for 3 minutes. So really solid. Really, really solid. It's honestly one of my favorite ones because when you combine this with the Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman and Boiled Prawn, like you just have so much damage reduction. It is insane. Like even when you use all these things that increase your damage taken, it'll really help mitigate the extra damage taken. I think the only thing that really I feel when I put it on is Howl of Shabriri, but yeah, but you don't even have to use that. That's not mandatory. Like you'll see here, I'm going to throw on Golden Vow. And then I'm going to throw on Flame Grant Me Strength, and then I'm going to use the Flask of Wondrous Physics, and you'll see how much damage I do here with the Blasphemous Blade. There we go. Do this. I don't even think I summoned the Mimic Tier, right? And keep in mind, the Mimic Tier mimics, your build exactly. So, and the Mimic Tier absolutely slaps with this build. Like, you're going to have people tell you that, Mimic Tier isn't the best summon. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm just going to come out and say it. Like it is the best. Like it's just math. Like it just copies your build. It's great. But anyways, yeah. So that's yeah, that is how you get the Opaline Hardtear. Alright, so now I just want to show you guys how to get Boiled Prawn. This is a good consumable. It's going to increase your physical defense by 15%. So go ahead, talk to Raya over here in Lerny of the Lakes, and make sure unfortunately if you do go into like Volcano Manor and kill Rykard, like the moment you walk into Volcano Manor, I think it teleports her away from here. So if you haven't done this quest, you're not going to be able to get it. But in the event that you haven't or you've already done it, that's good. But yeah, just come over here, talk to this guy. You're going to buy the necklace from him, and then you're just going to re-talk to him again. And then after you talk to him again, he'll offer to sell you the boiled prawn. And yeah, and it is very, very good. Very, very, very good stuff here. Yeah, so buy the necklace, and then there you go. Then just talk to him again, and he'll say, oh, you want some of me prawn? And he will sell, yeah. Then he will sell it to you. So now we're going to do a run to get the Mimics here. It's going to be the best summon that you can get with this. And it's because it just copies your build, and it also does Blasphemous Blade spams, and it will also even buff itself and cast the buffs. And don't get me wrong, they did nerf the AI on it a little bit, like way back whenever it was like too broken, I guess. But yeah, so this is just going from Nokron, like the very beginning spot. If you've done Radon, you need to go over to Fort Height. You'll see this big crater in the ground, drop down, and it'll take you down to exactly where I started this at. So I figured I'd go ahead and just do the whole run through here because it's not going to take too long. But yeah, so you're going to have a lot of people telling you that Mimic Tier is not the best summon. I've watched some videos by other YouTubers, and I'm not trying to throw shade or anything, but it's just not correct. Mimic Tier is just always going to be the best. And it's just because it copies your build. Plain and simple, it copies your stats. Like, I've used like a bunch of different summons. And there's going to be a lot of summons that actually are good like earlier on. But at the end of the day, they all just kind of fall off eventually when you compare it to the Mimic Tier. Now, to do this boss really easily, all you have to do is take off your items, and then it'll spawn without anything on. So yeah, if you want to do it easily, if you wanted to actually fight it, but I mean, it's still going to be easy. This doesn't drop the Mimic Tear. It does drop a cool helmet that increases your arcane. But this is just the first part of getting to the Mimic Tear. You do have to kill this boss. Okay, so now from the Mimic Tear, this is where we're going to do the final run over to the Mimic Tear. Oh, and also keep in mind you do need a Stone Sword key to get to this Mimic Tear. So make sure you have that. I can't remember if it's 1 or 2, but oh yeah, just make sure you have some Stone Sword keys. Those are pretty easy to get. Go to like Nomadic Merchants. You can get some from the Twin Maiden Husks. And I know there's one right at the beginning of the game. So yeah, so it's really not too hard to get, not especially now since you should be in the mid game. It shouldn't be that big of an obstacle to get some of those keys. But yeah, so and then kind of going back to what I was saying before about the Mimic Tear being the best. I mean, just think about it. It's like if your build is scaling well and you're like one-shotting things, right? You know, what's going to be better? Like the Bloodhound Knight that I had that's going to inflict its little bit of bleed, or, you know, or a Mimic Tear that's going to do a Blasphemous Blade spam. And it's even crazier when you do like strength builds and stuff like that, whenever you just have to rely on it doing auto attacks. But yeah, so come down in here. Yeah, so it's just one. And then kill this person, and in the chest you will find the Mimic Tear. Okay, so I'm not trying to harp on this, but I really just don't like all these clickbait videos I keep seeing of people saying that, you know, the Mimic Tear is not the best summon and that all these summons are good. I'm telling you right now, I've tried a billion different summons in like the very last boss fight of the DLC, and everything but the Mimic Tear was just getting virtually one shot and dying in phase 1. And that's kind of the thing, is that the Mimic Tear really is only as good as what your build is, whereas the other stuff, it doesn't really matter what you do. It's never going to get better because the Mimic Tear copies what your build is. You can see here that, I mean, the Mimic Tear I could let the Mimic Tear solo this boss fight if I wanted to with this specific build, right? Just to show you, I'm just showcasing you guys like exactly how it works, right? All right, so for stats, you're going to want Vigor, Strength, Faith, Mind, and Endurance. Now, Strength and Faith is going to be the main thing that's going to increase your damage. I like to try to keep those equal. Especially once you start getting to the point where you hit the soft caps and stuff like that. Now, when it comes to mind, that's going to be a little bit up to your preference, because the more mind you have, the more you're going to be able to spam the Blasphemous Blade before you need to refill on your mana. And then endurance, it's kind of the same thing, because Blasphemous Blade spamming is going to take up your stamina. So you're going to have to kind of play with those to see what you like. These are the numbers that I kind of like. Sometimes I do a little bit more in the mind, but it all just depends. It also depends on the level, but make sure that your build is functional. Don't feel like you need to just pump all your points into Strength and Faith just so you can deal as much damage as possible. Remember, you know, functionality of the build and ease of play of the build are also a thing, and you want the build to actually feel good. And if you're only able to press the Blasphemous Blade spam like once or twice before you need to refill your mana just because you put all your points into Faith and Strength, then it's, you know, it's going to feel a little bad, you know. Alright, so now you can see here in this fight, I used Howl, Shabriri, I used Golden Vow. I kind of buffed up with everything before attacking this thing. And I'm actually getting hit by pretty much, like, virtually everything. But you can see here I have a pretty high Vigor. I have a Great Rune on, which, guys, when it comes to the Great Runes, you can use Godric's, or you can use Melania's, the one that like just lets you heal after you get hit. Or if you really want to, you can use Radon's and get like the extra like equip load HP or whatever. Stuff, you know, just stuff like that. That's really up to your preference. One doesn't really make that big of a difference, especially when you consider you have to use rune arcs. Like half the time when I'm playing, I don't even have a Great Rune on because it's like I'm too lazy to go for rune arcs. So that's just me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have a bunch of them from just playing, but it's just not something I've ever used or really cared about that much. But you can see here, I hit him for 7,300 damage, but I think I hit its weak spot. Or actually, maybe, I don't know, not sure. But yeah, so this is just fighting the Scadutree avatar over in the Scadutree Basin. But you can see, making pretty quick work with him. And again, I'm not really taking a whole lot of damage because I have a lot of Vigor. I have my Shadow Tree Blessing up. And then that's because that's going to reduce the amount of damage you take while you're in the DLC area. I do not have the boiled prawn on, unfortunately, because I had accidentally ruined that in this one, not even thinking about it. I got Raya to go to Volcano Manor, so I couldn't actually do the quest line, unfortunately. But yeah, guys. So anyways, yeah, that is going to do it. Alright, guys. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you have everything that you should need to succeed in the DLC with this build. So now I'm going to let you guys see me give Gaius the old what for. Just kidding. I'm fairly certain we both killed each other at the same time. This is the very first Gaius kill that I actually got on him. The Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman was a godsend, and I think I actually didn't even use Howl Shabriri on this fight because I was taking too much damage by doing it. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you next time.